I'm done receiving tax returns. I've just recently processed and started to understand the whole concept of tax returns. And I think I just recently have started to understand it because I didn't grow up with, financial teaching and understanding kind of how taxes work. And so I've been doing a lot of recent just self education. And I've started to register to understand what a tax return is. Now, I think it's implied within the name, it's a return, but I've just started to understand that it's a return of my own money. Essentially, I'm lending out my money to the government, to the IRS, and I'm getting it returned back to me. And how this is happening is I'm just having too much money being withheld from taxes by my company through kind of like my pay portal. And it's like when I get a tax return, it's essentially I lent out my money as if it was a 0% interest loan to the IRS and I'm getting it back. Now, for me, that just doesn't feel good, right? When I start to kind of understand like what this means, right? That's extra money that I should just be seeing on my paycheck, right? That's extra money that I should be using throughout the year to invest, to save, to put away towards retirement, to improve my day-to-day quality of life. And I haven't really registered that, when I'm getting a return, it's just a return of my own money. Now, just for fundamental, like kind of like business practice, like really nobody would lend out their money as a 0% interest like loan. Like that's just not something that you see. The banks don't do that. It's very rare that you'll find like your money being lent out, or money just being lent out in general, um, as a 0% interest loan. And essentially when you're receiving a tax return, that's what you're doing, right? What that implies is that throughout the year you're not getting enough of your paycheck. So I've decided to pivot, right? I went in, filled out my W-4. It was the first year that I understood and learned what a W-4 is, and I'm taking the appropriate deductions and adjusting things on that form so that I can see more of my paycheck. What I want and what my goal is moving forward every year is to break even, or if I owe a little bit to the IRS when it comes tax season, that's okay. But I'm no longer going to be lending out my money and then getting it in the form of a return, right? It just doesn't make sense, right? I put in a previous video how much I got back when it came to my tax return, and I'm not expecting a whole lot when it comes to making this adjustment on my paycheck, but anything helps. If it's an additional $50, $100, whatever it might be, I want to see that on my paycheck. I don't want to receive a return, right? Because when you think about time in the market, if I took that money and I put that money in the market, right? That money could be compounding. If it was a couple $100s extra a month that I could put in the market, that money is working for me versus waiting the next year to receive that money as a refund. And this that concept is just wild to me. But for me, I wasn't the most financially literate growing up. I didn't have parents that are educated in this space. Nobody really talks about it. I don't understand fully the tax system and how taxes work. That's why I'm on this journey of doing a lot of self education. But just the concept of people getting excited this time of year to receive their money back that they lent out by having extra money withdrawn from their paycheck to cover taxes is just wild. And I don't know how many people are actually really putting that together. Now, for some people that aren't the most financially disciplined, it could make sense to have extra money taken out of your paycheck to be withheld for taxes. Because if you're a person that's not financially disciplined and you're getting extra money, just and you're getting extra money on your paycheck, and you're not having enough withheld, and you end up owing, and you don't have money reserves to pay the IRS or pay the government, right? If you're over, right, you're not going to be in a good position, right? So for me, that's not the case, right? I plan to be smart kind of with my paychecks. I want to continue to put money in a high yield savings account. I want to continue to invest money. I want to continue to have money put away. I'm not looking to be, financially irresponsible. So I think for me, it makes sense. But I could understand for the few where, if you just don't have that discipline, right? Just having extra money, I'm taking out. When I went into my pay portal the other day, and I looked, I seen that because I hadn't been filling out this W-4 for a form for my job, my company's just been withholding the highest amount when it comes to like taxes. So that's, you know, a couple $1,000s per year that I could just be seeing on my paycheck that's being withheld in taxes that I'm getting in the form of a refund. So that's just something I'm not looking forward to do anymore. This is why it's so important to get educated in this stuff. This is why it's so important, to kind of continue to look for different ways to maximize, your take home pay. But it just registered to me now at the age of 28 what a tax return is, and it's in the name. But again, I don't think anybody talks about it, and I don't think a lot of people pay attention to it. I don't think a lot of people care. I think a lot of people love the cultural phenomenon of receiving, money back during tax season. But they don't understand, because they're maybe not financially literate, that that's just extra money that they could be having on their paycheck. That's just extra money that they could be investing, extra money they could be saving, extra money they could be using to tackle down debt, right? And if you're just going to continue to pay the highest amount of taxes or have it withheld from your paycheck, that's precious money that you could be having extra per month to handle your responsibilities and set yourself up for a better financial future for tomorrow. So that's how I'm choosing to move, but I'm going to continue to be disciplined so that if I end up owing a little bit next tax season, it's okay. When I say owing a little bit, if it's a couple extra $100, right? Maybe not enough was like withheld. Maybe the deductions just didn't work from like the form that I filled out. That's okay. I'll have some money parked away, but I no longer want to receive money back, because for me, what that indicates is that too much was being taken out of my paycheck, and that's money that now that I have the skill set of investing, saving, keeping my debt down. That's just money I want to be handling. I don't want to wait for and be getting excited to just receive my own money back. And that's how it's packaged. And I don't think a lot of people are educated on this. So that's why I made this video. You might be similar in a similar situation to me, where you're trying to figure out how to maximize, take home pay, figure out ways and understand like where taxes and where your money's going. But this is a sneaky way that, you're not receiving your own money, because that's what a tax return is. It's your own money that you could have been receiving, per month. For me, since I have a child, I'm claiming the child credit that you get on this W-4 form, so that I'm getting that extra money on my paycheck versus waiting to get it rebated back to me on my tax return next year. And that's something that a lot of people can do, so that you just have extra money to be able to take care of your family and take care of your kids. So if you're watching this video, it's a sign that maybe you might need to look into this to see, does it make sense for your financial situation to maybe go in, to your pay portal, go in and see if you need to fill out this W-4 form, um, and kind of adjust some things so that you're not receiving tax returns anymore. You're being able to take advantage of your money today, each month, especially throughout the rest of this year, so that you can tackle debt, you can save, you can invest, you can build a better financial future for yourself tomorrow. So that's it for today's video. Hit the like button, subscribe, leave a comment if you agree with this content, if I missed anything, if there's additional points that or knowledge. I want to continue to get more wiser in this space and just understanding taxes, understanding how this system works. And I want to build a really good community of people that are financially disciplined along with me on this journey. Okay, take care.